And like yesterday, I talked about Obamacare, massive increase in premiums coming to a United States near you. To throw a little monkey wrench into Obamacare, this federal judge must not have been picked by the club. This federal judge must have been picked by like Reagan or something. Federal judge rules Obamacare is being funded unconstitutionally. House Republicans won round 2 in a potentially historic lawsuit Thursday when a federal judge declared that the Obama administration was unconstitutionally spending money to subsidize health insurers without obtaining an appropriation from Congress. Well, we're also at war without congressional approval either, declaration, so, I mean, what's this? Last year, U.S. District Court Judge Rosemary Collyer broke new ground by ruling the GOP-controlled House of Representatives had legal standing to sue the president over how he was enforcing his signature healthcare law. I'm going to pause, not even pausing. I'm going to go straight to Google. Judge Rosemary Collyer. Do you have Wikipedia? We absolutely do. I want to see who put her in office, just out of curiosity. Born November 19th, 1945, U.S. District Judge for the United States District Court of the District of Columbia, and a member of the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court? Oh, now that's interesting. Early life, judicial service. August 1st, 2002, she was nominated by... Hold on a second. Wait a minute, this isn't how the script is supposed to go. On August 1st, 2002, she was nominated by President George W. Bush to a seat on the U.S. District Court, District of Columbia, vacated by Thomas Penfield Jackson. Collyer was confirmed by the United States Senate November 14, 2002, and received her commission on the 15th. She has announced that she will take senior status on May 18, 2016. She was appointed by the Chief Justice, the U.S., to a 7-year term on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. The court provides a measure of judicial oversight over surveillance activities under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act as amended. So that is very interesting because this is not how this is supposed to go. There has to be something to this. Last year, she broke new ground by ruling, all right, whatever. On Thursday, she ruled that the administration is violating a provision of the law by paying promised reimbursements to health insurers who provide coverage at reduced cost to low-income Americans. Oh, and by the way, as I mentioned yesterday, 25 to 30 plus increases, maybe even more for some states and some insurers, coming to you in your nice Obamacare premiums. The judge's ruling, while a setback for the administration, was put on hold immediately and stands a good chance of actually being overturned on appeal. But the 38-page opinion highlights the repeated complaint from Republicans that Obama and his administration have ignored constitutional limits on their authority. The Constitution says no money shall be drawn from the Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law, Collyer noted. But the administration has continued to pay billions to insurers for their extra cost of providing health care coverage. Paying those reimbursements without an appropriation thus violates the Constitution, she wrote. Congress is the only source for such an appropriation, and no public money can be spent without one. House Speaker Paul Ryan called the ruling a historic win for the Constitution and the American people. The court ruled that the administration overreached by spending taxpayers' money without approval from the people's representatives. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said the administration remained confident it will prevail in the end. This suit represents the first time in our nation's history that Congress has been permitted to sue the executive branch over a disagreement about how to interpret a statute. He told reporters, "It's unfortunate that Republicans have resorted to a taxpayer-funded lawsuit to refight a political fight that they keep losing. Got a question. Why did you all vote it into law in the first place? You already knew all of this. Just saying. If you're really tough, guys, we're going to file suits and we're going to... Why did you vote it? The Democrats couldn't do it themselves, remember? Needed Republican help. And it passed. As the old saying goes, if your taxes are too high, it's because your representatives want your taxes high. Two years ago, House Republicans sued Obama under then-Speaker John Boehner and claimed the president had violated the law by delaying enforcement of several provisions of the Affordable Care Act. But lawyers later focused on the reimbursements for health insurers that had received little attention before. They said these payments would come to $175 billion over 10 years. And you already know that's what we thought at first. 10 years later, when they're actually counting it, turned out to be like 3 times that amount or 5 times that amount, We slipped out. The math was a little off. The healthcare law says insurers who enroll eligible low-income Americans shall cover the costs of their deductibles and co-payments, but promises the federal government shall make periodic and timely payments to cover those costs. The law is not entirely clear on where this money will come from, however. 1,900 or so pages. Biggest piece of garbage legislation I think ever written. As far as, 1,900 pages for freaking healthcare law. The law is not entirely clear on where the money will come from, however. 1,900 pages. Someone missed that one. No, someone didn't miss that one. It was there on purpose so that they could do what they've been doing. We'll just take the money from wherever and we'll deal with it. We'll cross that bridge later. But when that request went nowhere in Congress, officials at the Department of Health and Human Services said they could continue to pay these required reimbursements. They said payments were like other appropriate entitlements like Medicaid that are covered by permanent federal funds and not subject to an annual appropriation. Judge Collier called that claim a most curious and convoluted argument whose mother was undoubtedly necessity. Okay. And here, see, I didn't even have to go to Wikipedia. Collier, an appointee of President George W. Bush, said she would block any further reimbursements until a valid appropriation is in place, but then put her order on hold while the administration appeals. You can't do this, and I'm going to stop you from repaying effective immediately, re-effective immediately. It's on hold. Go ahead and go back to what you're doing. Is this a republic, United States of America? Am I living under democratic or a democratic form of government? You can't do that. It's unconstitutional. I'm blocking you from doing it. Going further. Next breath. I'm putting my own order on hold. Go ahead and go back to doing what you're doing. Now it makes sense, George Bush appointee. Now I get it. Okay. This is how the script's supposed to go. Obama's lawyers will likely renew their argument that this lawsuit should be thrown out because lawmakers do not have standing to sue the executive branch. Well, then if we have 3 branches and checks and balances, how does that actually work? If you all agree to something, it's a law, and then one of the branches effectively breaks the law, then what? In the past, the Supreme Court has tossed out suits from senators who objected to how the administration was interpreting the law. But a ruling may not come until after Obama leaves office next January. I would almost say you can bet your sweet behind that that's not going to happen until he's long gone. Another day in paradise. Take care.